Out here in Glamis for another shakedown of a couple bikes. The old 2010 F-150 half-ton tows it out. A couple of the guys had questions on what I used to get two bikes into the truck. I believe this was called a hitch hand. They make a bunch of different variants of it. You can find them online, Amazon, eBay, but they just go into your hitch receiver, and with a couple of plug-in attachments, a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and this cross member here that allows you to extend your bed. And I think it's got a couple different settings and widths you can do, but a 4x8 sheet of plywood from the Home Depot, Dixie Line, or your local woodshed company, you throw it right up, a couple tie downs to secure it, and it extends your bed so you can throw a couple bikes on. This is an all-stock Banshee with all-stock suspension, so it's not very long, but the one in back I think has a +6 on it. This blue Banshee is an all-stock build, stock carbs, V-force 4 reeds, mod quad head, pump gas, 21cc domes. It's got a port job, but it's not by me. It's a reputable builder. I think he's still around. It's an older style. The port job's decent. This one up here is the 521 build I had in my last video, and I brought this out specifically just to show you video on it. And you know, it helps the customer as I not only tune it, but I take it and put it in the environment that it's run in. And this one, again, I believe is a 6-inch swinger. It's a tube style. Elka front. I think those are the Alba +2+1 suspension. Again, it's the 521. That's a Super Cub. That's a 72mm bore on a 64mm stroke, 115 rod. That's a 10mm. Sheer small bore in-frame pipes, and I want to say 39mm carbs, but they might be 35s. I forgot. I have them in my notes. But dual pingle, dual gas line. This gas line we're gonna zip tie over. It's up against the pipe before we start riding. You don't want anything to be touching the pipes because they'll just melt. So we get out here and my ace mechanic forgets that the clutch adjuster is stripped out. So we didn't bring anything with us, well, not much, but zip ties and duct tape will get everything right. So hopefully that holds. Really only need to pull out of first gear. So we do this about every trip. We'll find something. Let's see if this 521 fires up. Gas on, key on, choke out. You can choke one carb or both carbs once you have an aftermarket setup. Our old stalker. I like the bike, no cut plastics, no nothing, just a simple stock Banshee, stock carbs, again pump gas but a port job on it. We'll call it a Dune port. FMF pipes. Notorious Banshee jingle. Well, I didn't like the off idle throttle response on this, and we just had it all apart, and we find that this one had a plugged pilot. So I want you guys to know, on the plug pilots, This is idle and off idle circuit that transitions to the needle. This has to be absolutely clean. And no, just blowing some brake cleaner through it or carb cleaner is not going to do it. You have to wire feed. And something simple as a brush like this, pull one strand of wire out of it and feed it up through the pilot jet. Now this isn't a small pilot jet, it's actually pretty big. I believe it's a 30, a 32, and it'll still get sand lodged in it. So there was a piece of gunk lodged in it. Now we cleaned these already, but maybe some residual from the tank or something got down in there and plugged it right back up. So we're unplugging them both, cleaning the carbs again, and setting it back in. This is the routine kind of maintenance that you have to do on these. No, don't run an inline fuel filter, especially if you got a hopped up Banshee. You'll never get enough fuel to the carbs and it'll end up starving that way. You just have to learn to do maintenance. We got the carbs back in, the jet's clean. Let's see if it does better now. Doesn't sound like it. Keep it going, keep it going. Keep it going. Don't let it stall. But you should be able to wick the throttle without having it bob. If you can't wick the throttle like that, the pilot's plugged, you have the wrong pilot, you have the air screws adjusted wrong, one of those things. It should be able to rev without pulling any load. Now the next step is, once you get that down, can it pull a load while you're doing it? So you should have good off idle spring. It should spring right to life when in first gear and you're just putting around. Ignition on. I'm going to try it with no choke. This one feels pretty good, a little bit on the fat side, but we want to keep it that way. See if we can find a tube and turn the idle up just a touch.
Oh no.
We did a little testing and tuning. So this gas tank is cracked on this one and it's leaking. And if you come around here, you can see that there's a bunch of putty in there. That's all putty from somebody trying to fix it, but it's leaking. I jetted it down a little bit. I like 185s in the Dune when we're racing. It keeps it from overheating and it gives it plenty of gas, and they're plenty fast enough. But riding around is a little fat. I went down to 175 mains. Remember, this is a 521 fully ported, so it eats a lot of fuel. That one there, we adjusted the needle because it wanted to hang mid-throttle. So that should make that one a little happier. And let's go ride. This is a good half bowl right
I think this is the one we came to last time.
Yeah, it kind of looks it, huh?
Yeah.
The little wind blows and nothing looks familiar. Didn't want to do too many with that. Can you tell how much faster this one is when I come by you? Yep. Fuck. I'm gonna take a break. I don't think I want to push this one anymore. It runs fucking tits. There's no doubt about it. It's just it's leaking gas. Ooh, yeah, it's getting low. This should be enough to make it back, at least over the big hill. And it's flat and going downhill the rest of the way.